Scottie Scheffler steals the show in Happy Gilmore 2, golf's unlikely comedy star. Here's a bold truth. Scottie Scheffler, the world's top-ranked golfer, absolutely stole the spotlight in the highly anticipated sequel, Happy Gilmore 2. Since its release less than a week ago, the movie has unleashed a wave of reactions, some glowing, others mixed, but no one can deny the impact it's made as the follow-up to the beloved cult comedy. Netflix announced an impressive milestone this past Tuesday. Happy Gilmore 2 racked up 46.7 million streams in its first 3 days. This staggering figure marks the most successful U.S. opening weekend ever for Netflix. But it's not just the numbers that are catching attention. There's a standout performance that's turning heads. Enter Scottie Scheffler. While most golf fans know him for his dominance on the greens, he recently claimed the Open Championship title and has 4 major wins under his belt. What you might not expect is his knack for acting. If you've seen Happy Gilmore 2, you probably noticed how natural he seemed on screen. Scheffler's dry wit, his readiness to poke fun at himself, and his effortless delivery brought a refreshing energy to the film. This isn't just our take. A quick glance through social media shows plenty of praise for his debut performance. Need proof beyond fan enthusiasm? Just ask Hunter Mahan, Adam Sandler's golf swing double during the movie, who shared his experience on this week's episode of Golf's Subpar podcast. Mahan described Scheffler as great and revealed a side of the golfer rarely seen publicly. On the course, Scheffler's known for keeping his head down, grinding, and focusing on faith and family. But on set, people saw a totally different personality, a guy with a ton of charisma and humor. He's just a dude, Mahan said, and that's what makes it so special. One of the memorable elements of Scheffler's role was the film's tongue-in-cheek reference to his real-life arrest at the 2024 PGA Championship. Yes, the very headlines about him punching another player. In the movie, he dryly comments, "Oh no, not again," upon his arrest. Later, trapped in a jail cell, a guard asks if he wants to make a call. Scheffler responds with a perfectly deadpan, "Depends, what's for dinner?" When told, "Chicken fingers," he pauses, then says, "I'll stick around another night." It's moments like these that show he wasn't just acting, he was fully embracing the joke. Mahan pointed out that Scheffler's willingness to lean into such a flashy, controversial moment was impressive, especially considering how many athletes might shy away from highlighting missteps. "He just killed it," Mahan said. "They really leaned on him. A lot of guys would have said no to bringing that up again or wouldn't want to revisit that chapter. But Scottie embraced it fully, and that added a lot of value to the movie." It made Adam Sandler and the entire crew really happy because that's something not everyone would take on. This approach sparks an interesting question. Should public figures openly embrace their embarrassing or controversial moments to reshape their narrative, or is it better to keep those events private? Your thoughts could spark a fascinating debate. Do you think Scheffler's humor and openness improve his public image? Or might it risk trivializing serious incidents? For those curious to hear more from Hunter Mahan about Happy Gilmore 2, the Ryder Cup, and other golf topics, the full podcast episode is available on Spotify and YouTube. Josh Bearhow, the managing editor at Golf.com, handled the daily news and strategic planning for one of the sport's most read websites. He writes, edits, and plans content while occasionally wondering if he'll ever break 80 in golf. Before joining Golf.com in 2015, Bearhow gained experience working with newspapers in Minnesota and Iowa. A graduate of Minnesota State University in Mankato, he lives in the Twin Cities with his wife and 2 children. He welcomes contact at Joshua_Bearhow at Golf.com. Behind the scenes of Happy Gilmore 2, crazy golf scenes revealed. Behind the scenes of the wild golf scenes in Happy Gilmore 2. You might think that the outrageous scenes featured during the Maxi golf tournament in Happy Gilmore 2 were crafted using artificial intelligence. And honestly, who could blame you? It's hard to imagine that a golf course would permit a film crew to cover a fairway with 6 inches of sand to simulate a desert golf scene that lasts only a few moments on screen, or that they would freeze a fairway to create an icy spectacle. Even the bizarre rotating putting green appeared to be a product of computer graphics at first glance. However, the truth is that these eccentricities were very much real, thanks to Labar Golf, a leading construction company in the golf industry, which sprang into action as soon as the team from Happy Madison reached out. Todd Saganek, the operations director at Labar, frequently received calls from the film's art director with only a couple of days' notice. They would say, "We need to construct a jump for a golf cart that soars through the air, crashes, and bursts into flames," he recalled, and they would require it within a day or two. The fall season was particularly hectic for both the Happy Gilmore crew and Labar Renovations, as they collaborated to bring the golf scenes to life across New Jersey. Filming took place at 4 distinct golf courses: Fiddler's Elbow Country Club in Bedminster, Beacon Hill Country Club in Atlantic Highlands, Alpine Country Club, and Rockley Golf Course in Bergen County. Saganek mentioned that they were simultaneously managing around 15 other projects nationwide. Labar collaborates with some of the most renowned architects in the golf world at prestigious courses like Shinnecock Hills, Marion, Winged Foot, Seminole, and Oakland Hills, to name a few. Typically, their projects involve extensive planning and scheduling over several months. However, the situation was quite different for Happy Gilmore too. Screenwriters often lack a clear understanding of how golf course construction operates, Saganek humorously noted. When a writer envisioned a golf cart soaring through the air, Labar would mobilize a nearby crew the very next day. Thankfully, many of their projects are located in the tri-state area, bringing dozens of workers to the scene. For the golf cart scene, they had to construct a new bunker at Rockley Golf Course and a jump ramp to facilitate the cart's flight and subsequent explosion. Another area where Labar shines is in restoring the courses to their original state, ensuring that golfers can return to play on those holes in no time. This was especially true at Fiddler's Elbow, where most of the golf scenes were filmed. With 54 holes available, the crew had the freedom to make changes on one of the courses, and members were back playing as usual within months of filming, even if one of the holes had been transformed into a scene reminiscent of the Sahara Desert. The rotating elevated green stands out as perhaps the most iconic feature created for the film, and it was also a Labar project. However, this particular feature required weeks of design and construction, rather than just days. The crew installed hydraulic systems beneath the green, allowing them to control its rotation, enabling Adam Sandler and the other characters to putt on this fantastical surface. Additionally, the bunker with 5-inch-high wooden planks was constructed right next to the green, just as depicted in the movie. How does this experience compare to their other projects? "Nothing really comes close," Saganek stated, "and perhaps nothing ever will. That's the magic of showbiz."